Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. I'm County Executive John Leopold. In today's program, we will update you on the latest news, sports, and legislative activities in the county. We also have a list of available jobs in the county and pets like my own, Francois Rabelais, that are ready to adopt and become part of your family. Stay with us because all your county news, sports, and special features are coming up on this edition of Anne Arundel County Week in Review.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Wardlaw, and this is Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Making headlines this week, County Executive John Leopold and U.S. Senator Barbara Mikulski met this week to discuss issues related to BRAC. Now, while the county executive agrees BRAC offers a great opportunity, he says the county needs the resources to accommodate growth in an orderly and comprehensive way, especially when related to transportation.
There are a number of critical projects in Anne Arundel County, such as 175 and 295 and 198, where I've asked for an acceleration of the timetable for those construction projects to move forward. We welcome the new growth that BRAC brings. We welcome the new citizens that will be coming into our county. This is a great county to live and work, and we just want to make sure that we have the resources necessary to properly accommodate that growth.
The senator told the county executive and members of the press that she is willing to work to ensure that Anne Arundel County gets their fair share of federal funds.
We really are partnership politics, not partisan politics. I've known the county executive for a number of years. Though we come from different sets of parties, we have on our Anne Arundel County and Maryland jerseys to really fight to be sure that with the good news of new jobs coming, that it is not an unfunded federal mandate in terms of transportation and education.
There will be 5,000 direct defense jobs coming to Anne Arundel County. Now, the senator agrees there is a huge need for transportation dollars, and both the county executive and senator agree that additional impact aid is necessary to help fund education. Well, this week, the county executive testified before a Senate committee hearing requesting the sunset clause on a 3-year pilot grant program for radium testing be lifted. Now, the legislation, which the county executive sponsored as a delegate in 2003, provides assistance to property owners who purchase treatment systems to mitigate high levels of radium in private wells.
It's been a successful program, but we feel that with greater marketing, we can help more people. And I've asked that the sunset be lifted so we can do that very thing.
To date, county residents from Pasadena, Severn, and Severna Park have taken advantage of the program, and more than $2,500 have been paid to eligible homeowners. Now, the Radium Pilot Grant Program provides financial aid to residential well owners to remove radium or gross alpha from the well water. Implementation of the program is subject to the availability of funds in the state budget. Well, also this week, the county executive testified on a school board bill. And joining us with more information is Governmental Relations Director Alan Friedman.
Rhonda, the school board selection process has been an issue for over 2 decades. During this time, County Executive Leopold has led the fight for more citizen input into how our school board is chosen. There are 2 main issues. In the past, the governor has been able to circumvent the school board nominating process and appoint someone who has not gone through that review procedure. Also, county voters had not had an opportunity to cast an up or down vote on any person appointed by the governor to serve on the board. The legislation proposed by the county executive and supported by our County Chamber of Commerce and the Teachers Association would address both these problems. It would create a nominating commission and require the governor to appoint a person from the list submitted by that commission. At the next general election, citizens would be able to cast an up or down vote on the retention of that member on the board. County Executive Leopold's proposal represents the best way to move forward and guarantee that the governor will respect the nominating process and ensure citizens a voice, both as members of the nominating commission and at the ballot box, in who sits on our county's Board of Education. Our county's delegation to the General Assembly will be considering this proposal as the session moves into the second month of its 90-day session.
Thank you, Alan. And despite 2 dress rehearsals, Old Man Winter seemed to rear his ugly head this week, sending 2 inches of ice coating everything in the county. Now, to add insult to injury, the winds gusting at 40 miles per hour snapped trees and power lines, causing major power outages. The Emergency Operations Center partially activated on Tuesday and was prepared for the first of 2 waves which moved through the area. Now, by Wednesday morning, the roads, trees, and power lines were all coated with inches of ice, bringing Anne Arundel County to a virtual standstill. Some 71,000 county residents were without power at the height of the storm, and the county executive saw a need to open the shelter to accommodate anyone who needed a place to sleep, something to eat, or most importantly, a way to stay warm.
And it's important to let people know what services are available. So here at Annapolis High School, we have a shelter established, food, and facilities for people to be taken care of. I don't know how long this situation is going to last, but I want to make sure that the county steps up to the plate, provides the needed assistance so that our citizens are protected.
The Annapolis High School was opened Wednesday to the public. Then on Thursday morning, the 20 remaining residents at the shelter were moved to the South County Senior Center as an alternative shelter. Joining us now with more information on the storm is Department of Public Works spokesperson Pam Jordan.
Thank you, Rhonda. I am reporting from Glen Burnie this week from the Henry L. Hine Public Service Building, home of the Emergency Operations Center, and I'm right in the main command room where we have kept a pulse on emergency situations during this winter storm and, of course, other emergencies that come up in the county. Now, with me today is Lieutenant Tom Wilson. Tom is the Director of the Office of Emergency Management, and I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Pam.
Now, County Executive Leopold did partially activate the Emergency Operations Center this week in response to the winter storm. Tell us more about what a partial activation actually means.
A partial activation is when we bring in various county organizations such as police, fire, Department of Public Works, aging, community resources. We have school board, as well as volunteers such as Red Cross and our RACES communications people. We bring them all into the center and we coordinate our activities here.
So, for instance, when we opened the shelter at Annapolis High School this week, that didn't just happen by accident. That was all coordinated from this room. Isn't that true?
Yes, ma'am. What we did is we brought the resources together of the school board, of our community services, Red Cross. We opened that shelter. We provided services to them. Fire department supplied them with some resources such as cots, chairs, whatever they needed. And all that was functioned, that entire function was operated out of here.
Well, speaking of coordination, there's an awful lot of technology in this room, especially even fundamental technology like ham radios. Tell us more about what goes on here as far as the technology.
The center has built-in redundancy. What that means is we have technology from voice over internet protocol telephones all the way to our 800 megahertz system that we use every day to our RACES communications where it's our ham operators. So that allows us, in case something goes down, and gives us something to fall back on.
And this is real-time information we're monitoring, isn't that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Even linked into our mobile command center?
Yes, ma'am. It's all linked together, and we're able to shoot some of that information up onto the screen. That way everyone can monitor what's going on, such as mapping, such as information live from Baltimore Gas and Electric, and other information that's important to the folks that are here.
Excellent. Now, we spend a lot of time coordinating public service and providing service to the public during an emergency. And so often the message is out there for the public to prepare their own at-home emergency kit or be prepared for emergencies. That message gets lost, I think. It gets overused, but it's important information. Tell us why.
Well, this is a prime example. Here we are. We're going to be maybe 24 hours without power in Anne Arundel County. 1/5 of Anne Arundel County is out. The folks are going to need supplies. You need water. You need food. You need batteries to supply your radios and also your flashlights. So those are important things that you need to have on hand. There's also information available on our website, aacounty.org. for emergency preparedness. Go to that link, take a look at it, gives you a list of ideas of what you need to have available to you.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I know you're very busy here. It's been a long 24 hours for you. I'm going to let you get back, but thank you for your time.
Thanks, Pam.
Rhonda, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. Reporting from Glen Burnie for Anne Arundel County Week in Review, I'm Pam Jordan.
Thanks, Pam. Well, snowstorms are usually something most children look forward to as they bundle up to go sledding. Unfortunately, there are some hazards to sledding, including choosing the right location. Now, on February 14th, a 12-year-old boy from Gambrels was sledding with friends on Old Dairy Farm Road. The boy sledded down from the hillside onto a roadway and into the path of a Ford truck. Trees and shrubbery hindered both the juvenile and the driver's ability to see each other, and unfortunately the truck did in fact run over the juvenile. Corporal Shriver now joins us to provide tips on how to prevent these dangerous types of incidents.
Rhonda, while sledding is considered a favorite pastime of children, there are many precautions families should take. For example, parents, if you can, supervise your children while they're sledding. If you can't be there, make sure you know exactly their location and make sure it's a safe one as well. Instruct them not to leave that site without your permission. You know, we always emphasize to our citizens to always be aware of their surroundings. Well, parents, this applies to your children as well during their sledding endeavors. Rhonda, back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. And the juvenile from the sledding incident was transported to Johns Hopkins Hospital, where he is currently listed in critical condition. Well, the Anne Arundel County Office of Law and the Department of Inspections and Permits announced the results of the February court proceedings. Now, each month, these agencies bring unresolved and contested violations before the courts. And here to talk more about both the civil citation cases and the injunction cases is County Attorney Jonathan Hodgson.
Thanks, Rhonda. Last week, I discussed two recent cases where Anne Arundel County courts issued strong judgments and levied significant fines against persons who chose to disregard county regulations regarding construction in their critical areas. Of course, our enforcement efforts don't extend only to the critical areas, but address all violations to our grading and building codes, regardless of where those violations occur. Just to give you an idea of the scope of our current enforcement efforts, in January alone, the Office of Law filed 34 enforcement cases in the district court. Under Maryland law, the county may file enforcement actions either by issuing a citation, which is much like a traffic ticket, or by civil complaint. The citation is a form that states the name of the violator, the nature of the offense, and a fine. The person charged with the violation has the option of paying the fine and ceasing or correcting the violation or going to court. The maximum fine that may be assessed by citation is $1,000. The civil complaint process is used for the more serious infractions and may be used to seek penalties as high as $5,000 for the first offense. Now, as I said a moment ago, just last month, the Office of Law filed 34 code enforcement cases. Of those, 28 were on citations and 6 were by civil complaint. This administration believes that educating the public on this process will enhance our efforts and assist our enforcement arm. And already we've begun to see positive effects from that policy. Now back to you, Rhonda.
Thanks, John. And just one note, a total of 605 permits were issued out of the Inspections and Permits Office this week. And finally, today, the Anne Arundel County Department of Health has ordered an emergency closing and warns against direct water contact for Deep Creek in Arnold, Maryland. Now, the closing is due to a 17,000-gallon wastewater overflow at the Bay Hill pumping station on Bay Green Drive. The overflow was caused by loss of primary and secondary power service. The closed creek will be reopened when the water quality conditions are determined to be acceptable by the Department of Health. The department advises anyone coming in contact with the affected water to wash well with soap and water immediately. Also, clothing should be washed immediately. For more information on the status of the closing, you can visit the department's website at www.aahealth.org. And while this is definitely a serious situation, I think residents of Anne Arundel County are fairly happy that it happened in the winter months versus the summer months when they would actually be utilizing those beautiful waterways in Anne Arundel County.
Rhonda, you sure have a way of putting a positive spin on a bad situation, so we appreciate that.
Well, talk about some positive things happening water-wise indoors.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a cold, icy, windy week in the wide world of Anne Arundel County sports. So what better way to start off this week's sports report than with highlights from the Anne Arundel County High School Swimming Championship. Hopefully this will help all of us think about those warm spring and hot summer days. For the first time in Anne Arundel County high school sports history, we were able to crown a men and women's team champion in swimming. It came down to the last event of the evening to officially crown the men's championship team. The Seahawks were down to the Falcons by 2 points going into the 400-yard freestyle relay. The Seahawks came together nicely as a team in the relay and were able to pull out the victory in the 400-yard relay with an amazing performance. The tension mounted as the waves cleared and the points were tallied. It was then announced that the South River Seahawks came away with 98 points to take the top spot. Severna Park finished second with 94 points, and Broadneck rounded out the top three with 83 points. The girls hit the water just as hard and determined. The Severna Park Falcons, however, were no match for the competition. Swimming fans watched as the Falcon girls crushed the competition, taking first place in 8 of the 11 events and going on to win with a commanding 158 points. The second place Seahawks finished well behind them with 91. But the real winner of the county swimming meet championship had to be the sport itself. Last year, parents, students, and aquatics lovers successfully lobbied the Board of Education, and this year, for the first time ever, swimming became a high school varsity sport. In this, the first season, over 500 student athletes took part, making this a very successful winter sports for Anne Arundel County Athletics. A special thanks goes to Anne Arundel County Head of Athletics, Greg LeGrand, for making swimming a part of varsity athletics here in the county. Well, this week our high school sports scoreboard has been shut down. Below freezing temperatures, power outages, and lots of ice forced county schools to close their doors. The scoreboard will return next week, folks, weather permitting. Speaking of winter weather, our final segment today features a look at the variety of options Anne Arundel County residents have to take part in winter sports. Sledding and cross-country skiing are activities that Anne Arundel County can easily accommodate. However, if you're looking for the thrill of downhill skiing, snowboarding, or tubing, you may need to travel just a little bit north and west to the higher elevation. Two of the many ski resorts that area residents enjoy visiting are Ski Wisp and Ski Liberty. A beautiful 3.5-hour drive from most points in the county out Interstate 68 to the far reaches of the state of Maryland will bring you to Ski Wisp at Deep Creek Lake in Garrett County. The Deep Creek area saw about 8 inches of new snow this week to add to their snowpack. Wisp currently has around 31 trails open for skiing and snowboarding. If you're like me and you enjoy the more relaxing side of winter sports, snow tubing, snowmobile tours, and plenty of homes for rent with hot tubs are also available. A little closer to home and just over the Maryland line in Carroll Valley, Pennsylvania, you'll find Ski Liberty at Liberty Mountain. Ski Liberty Resort features many winter activities and even provides a snow sports school, children's learning center, and a first-timers class. So it sounds like kids young and old can learn winter sports together. 22 trails are now open and quite a few inches of new snow are on the ground. Rhonda, that's your Red Hot Sports Report for this week. Back to you.
I took you more as like a hot dog snowboarder.
Well, no.
Hot tubber.
A hot tubber with maybe a hot dog in the hot tub.
Oh, now you're talking. All right, thanks so much, Eric. We hope that you'll all stay with us. We still have more coming up on this week's edition of Anne Arundel County Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. This is County Executive John Leopold. Seniors and disabled residents have been making some tough decisions lately regarding Medicare. The most recent was regarding Medicare Part D. Now an Advantage plan is available for individuals receiving Medicare, and to tell us more about it is Susan Knight with the Department of Aging and Disabilities. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
What makes it different than Medicare?
It's a different way of using your Medicare benefit. The Medicare Advantage plans are private plans. They have contracts with Medicare, and the Medicare beneficiary who joins one of those plans is agreeing to be a part of their network and to be served by the providers that are a part of their network in most instances.
What plans are available?
There are 5 plans available. Again, they are privatized plans. The Department of Aging and Disabilities has a list of those plans that we can send out to people along with suggestions about how to go about interviewing the plan so that you can be an informed Medicare beneficiary when you start to look at these plans and make a decision. We will provide telephone numbers for them. They will be pleased to come and sit down in your home and talk with the Medicare beneficiary about how their plan works. And we'll provide the beneficiary with a list of questions that will allow them to ask the right questions and get the answers that they need.
What are some of the benefits?
Well, they're called Medicare Advantage plans because they offer some other advantages that the original Medicare plan doesn't, such as a little bit of help for eye care or some help for dental care. In some cases, they provide transportation for medical appointments. Other Medicare Advantage plans actually provide health club memberships.
Are there any seminars or other opportunities to explain the benefits?
Yes, the Department of Aging and Disabilities SHIP program is going to hold 3 seminars in different senior centers in the county. The first will be on Tuesday, February 20th at the Annapolis Senior Activity Center in Annapolis.
What time would that be?
And that'll be at 10 o'clock. The second will be at South County Senior Center on Thursday, the 22nd of February. That also begins at 10 o'clock. And the third at Paschal Senior Center on Tuesday, February 27th. That seminar will begin at 12:30. And because I know that folks won't remember this, they certainly can call us at the Department of Aging at 410-222-4464 to get more information. They can also call any one of those 3 senior centers to get more information about the seminars. We hope that Medicare beneficiaries and their families and friends will come out to these seminars. We want folks to understand what's being offered to them so that they can be informed buyers of this very important product if they decide to make that decision. This is certainly a decision that they can choose to bypass. They do not have to join a Medicare Advantage plan. It works very well for some people. For others, it won't be the right decision. So we hope that Anne Arundel County residents will let the SHIP program help them make that decision.
Thank you, Susan. It's been very helpful information.
Thank you for inviting me.
Please stay with us. Anne Arundel County Week in Review will return after this brief message.
It's cold and flu season, and the last thing you want is to be sick or make others sick. So here's what you do to stop germs and stay healthy. Cover your coughs. Wash your hands after sneezing, coughing, or blowing your nose. Wash with warm water and soap for 20 seconds, and then dry. When you can't wash your hands, use an alcohol-based sanitizer. If you do get sick, stay home. Stop germs, stay healthy.
Welcome back to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Joining us now is Health Officer Fran Phillips with information on the importance of child safety seat installation.
Hello, I'm Fran Phillips, Health Officer, and I'm here to talk with you for a minute about car safety. You know, as much as we try to avoid them, accidents happen. If you have a child in your car, do not take a chance. That child must be safely restrained in a child safety seat. It's the law in Maryland. All children under the age of 5 and under 40 pounds must be restrained in an approved safety seat. Car seats are safe. What's often not safe is the way that either the seat itself is installed in the car or the child installed in the seat. Sometimes that's not so easy to do. There are over 70 different models and manufacturers of these safety seats, so it's often tough to be sure that yours is installed properly. First thing, by all means, check the manufacturer's instruction manual and make sure that you've got proper installation and you have a seat that's proper for the child's weight. Another tip is to be sure that that child is in the back seat. This is the safest place for the child to ride. As you know, in the front seat, airbags often create a real hazard and can cause injury to children. Now, there are 3 types of safety seats, depending on the age and the weight of the child. Infants up to the age of 1 and under 20 pounds should always be placed in a rear-facing seat. Over 20 pounds and up to 40 pounds, children should ride forward-facing in the back seat. And then finally, children between 40 pounds and 80 pounds should ride with a booster seat that's properly restrained both with the lap and the shoulder belt. As I said, sometimes that's not so easy to make sure that your safety seat is properly installed. That's why the Health Department operates free child safety seat inspections periodically throughout the year. These inspections are very popular with new parents and new grandparents. If you're interested in making sure that your seat is properly installed in your car, come by one of our safety inspections. There's 2 locations. In the Annapolis area at the Parole Health Center, 410-222-7249, or in the northern part of the county in Brooklyn Park Health Center, 410-222-6620. Either one of those numbers can give you information about the next safety seat inspection clinic. Go ahead and give us a call just to make sure that you've got your seat safely installed. Thanks.
Thanks, Fran. Please stay with us. Anne Arundel County Week in Review will be back right after this message.
I'm tall enough to reach the light switches. I'm big enough to brush my teeth by myself. I'm the tallest kid in my class. I haven't worn diapers in years. I'm much less likely to vomit at random now. My cups don't have lids anymore. Mine either. I'm getting pretty big. But to help me survive a car crash, I still need you to give me a boost.
Until they're 4'9", use a booster seat in the car and don't let them down.
Welcome back to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. I'm Betsy Kirkpatrick-Allett here at Animal Control Headquarters at 411 Maxwell Fry in Millersville, Maryland. I would like to at this point introduce you to 2 of the many animals that are temporarily calling Animal Control home. First, I'd like you to meet the first cat of the week. We're actually going to do 2 cats this week. This cat is named Shocky. Shocky is a domestic short-hair tortie. She's female, approximately 3 years old. Seems like a very friendly cat. She's obviously very relaxed sitting here. She is healthy. She was owned by someone who unfortunately had to go into a nursing home and so was unable to keep the cat. And that's too bad, but I'm sure that we can find a nice new home for Shocky. Our second cat of the week is named Joby. Joby is a domestic short-hair, black and brown tiger, approximately 8 months old. Looks remarkably similar to Shocky, so we have 2 basically identical cats this week. But Joby was a stray, was found a couple of weeks ago, and again, it's sitting here, it seems quite relaxed. It's enjoying having its chin scratched, and I'm sure that it would make a wonderful addition to your home. If you're interested in either of these 2 cats, please come to Animal Control. If they're not available, there are many other animals, cats, dogs, and sometimes lots of other critters that are looking for a home and I'm sure would love to go home with you. This time of year, because it is so cold and we are having snow and ice events, a lot of de-icing ingredients are put down. When you take your animals out for a walk, please be sure when you come back to wipe off their paws with a damp cloth. Many of these de-icing ingredients will make your dog sick if the dog does lick its paws. And now, back to the studio.
And joining us now is Franklin Cheney with this week's Department of Recreation and Parks update.
Thank you, Rhonda. I am here today in Odenton, Maryland at Arundel Middle School at an Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks 13 and under basketball league game. With me today is Ron Mox, Sports Supervisor at Recreation and Parks. Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Franklin, for inviting me.
All right, Ron, we have 3 supervisors at Recreation and Parks in charge of youth basketball. You're one of the 3. Tell us a little bit about Recreation and Parks youth basketball programs.
Well, Franklin, we start just the first week of December, hopefully to finish up the end of February. We have approximately 450 teams in the age group of 8-9 through 12-13. We also have an older age group in the 15, 17 age group that played on Sundays. We have about approximately 90 to 100 teams.
Okay, now as I said earlier, we have 3 supervisors that run. You're one of the 3. Kind of explain how the 3 supervisors work out.
Well, we all work here. I work with the younger age groups, Franklin, and we have Donna Liberto, who handles all the females, and we have Josh Roach, who handles the older kids.
Okay, now the county leagues, the organizations sign up and then they participate in our leagues. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Well, what happens, they register their teams through Rec and Parks. We have a seating meeting that we seat all the teams and put them in locations, give them time slots during the day on a Saturday, and start playing basketball.
Now, with close to 500 teams, we're playing throughout the county. How many sites do we have and everything?
21 to 22 sites on a Saturday and 7 sites on a Sunday.
Now, you mentioned earlier you have a scheduling meeting, so the teams kind of put them in the caliber of play.
Yes, we have 4 classifications, A, B, C, and D, depending on the level of play that they choose to enter.
Now, the goals of the league are very simple, that we want the kids to have fun. Rule number 1 in our department. So with the coaches, and we have many volunteers, the emphasis is obviously on good sportsmanship and making sure the kids have fun. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we have a coach's pledge that all the coaches sign. We ask them to have a parent meeting before the season so that they are familiar with all the rules and regulations that they have to follow once they get into the gyms.
Now, basketball, we all know, is a great game.
Right.
This year we've been very fortunate with the weather. No snow, so we at Recreation and Parks are really happy when there's no snow.
Absolutely.
It makes the league, gets the league started because lacrosse is right around the corner.
Absolutely correct there. We have a target date, the end of February. Our spring sports start March 31. So we have a window of 4 weeks to complete basketball and get ready for our spring and summer sports.
Now, you've been with the department many years.
37, Franklin.
37 years, so congratulations to you, and I appreciate the hard work that you do in our program.
Thank you.
Rhonda, Recreation and Parks is very proud of our youth sports programs. Youth basketball is one of our biggest programs. Rule number 1 in our department for our youth sports is to have fun. So, Rhonda, we're having fun here. Back to you in the studio. Thank you.
Thanks, Franklin. Well, the county has many job openings available, and here to highlight 2 of them is Personnel Officer Patricia Hopkins. Trish?
We currently have about 14 position announcements that we are recruiting for. I would like to highlight 2 of those positions for you today. We are looking for qualified candidates for Assistant Planning and Zoning Officer to fill a full-time, safety-sensitive permanent position with the Planning and Zoning Department. The annual salary range is $68,146 to $109,817. This is a high-profile management position that will assist the Planning and Zoning Officer on a variety of land use issues and provide oversight to several divisions. The minimum requirements are graduation from an accredited 4-year college or university with major coursework in public or business administration, planning, or a related field, 6 or more years experience in the field of public administration, planning, development, and enforcement of regulations, including 4 or more years supervisory experience, and valid non-commercial Class C motor vehicle operator's license. The 4-year degree may be substituted with a minimum 8 years or more of directly related professional level experience. Preference will be given to applicants who are experienced and knowledgeable in a variety of land use issues, the administration and enforcement of codes, regulating the zoning and development review process, and the comprehensive plans process. Possess good interpersonal skills and a demonstrated ability to interact with appointed and elected officials, citizen groups, and the development community. Have experience in personnel management and the legislative process, including testifying before legislative bodies. Direct experience and knowledge of county organizational structure and business process is essential. Our second highlighted position is for detention officer. This announcement will be used to fill full-time vacancies at the Anne Arundel County Detention Center. The annual salary range is $35,497 to $56,000. Detention officers work a 6-3 schedule on a day, evening, or midnight shift at either the Ordnance Road facility in Glen Burnie or the Jennifer Road facility in Annapolis. This is responsible work in adult corrections in maintaining order and supervising inmates in the county detention center. This position requires graduation from high school, a minimum age of 18 at the time of appointment, and a valid non-commercial Class C motor vehicle operator's license. Employees in this classification are designated essential employees and must report to work under all weather conditions. The selection process includes a comprehensive background investigation. Please note this is a safety-sensitive position, and employees in this position are subject to random controlled dangerous substance testing. Once the candidate has successfully completed the entire selection process and is hired, they will be required within the first year of employment to attend the Maryland Correctional Training Academy for the specified training period. Please visit our website to learn more about these positions and others, or to apply online. Just click on Careers and follow the instructions to learn more about job opportunities with Anne Arundel County government. Now, let's go back to County Executive John Leopold.
That wraps up this edition of Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Glad you could join us, and I look forward to seeing you all around the county at various functions. And back here again next week on Channel 98. Until then, have a great week.